You know the meaning? You recite this mantra? You know the meaning? Huh? What? No. Yes. Yes, no. Huh? Something like this. English. So I'll explain the meaning. Om. Om. The word Om has three letters. A, O, Ma. Right? A, O, Ma. So A, O, Ma, these three letters represent two levels of meaning. First level, it represents the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha. In other words, the exalted body, speech, and mind of the Buddha. On the second level, it represents your ordinary body, speech, and mind. Right? Right? Now, when we do Buddhist practice, money and payment. Money means jewel, gems, precious gems, precious jewel, money. So this represents skillful means like kindness, compassion, and so forth. Right? Money. It can be money also. Money also. Right? Money. So Padma means Padma, lotus. Lotus. So that represents wisdom. Wisdom. So it is through the practice of money and payment, which means skillful means and wisdom, compassion and wisdom, that you become one with the Buddha. Clear? You know the meaning now? Om Mani Padme. Right? So this is basically not Tibetan, it is Sanskrit. Om Mani Padme. The Tibetan translators, when they started translating many precious Sanskrit texts, Buddhist Sanskrit texts into Tibetan, they did an amazing job, 108 volumes of the Buddha, 220 Indian scholars, they're all translated into Tibetan through the combined effort of Tibetan scholars and Indian scholars. Right? But when they were translating, if they came across a word, Sanskrit word, right? Whose meaning, or what is represented by this word, it is so if not there, if it is not there in Tibetan, then they will leave it like that. And like money, you can translate it, but easier to leave it like this. Padme, lotus, there is no lotus in Tibet. So the translators, they said if it is the name of a forest or mountain or something which is not there in Tibetan, leave it like this. This is a really good technique. Very good technique. So that's why these days I encourage people when we translate terms from English into Tibetan, we already translated sort of thousands, some scientific terms into Tibetan, publish a book already. So they are also, I played a very important role. So I encourage them to follow this ancient technique. Like for example, AIDA. If you do a meaning translation, this one word will have this long Tibetan translation. So just put aid. Then similarly computer, Tibetans have translated it, Logle, which means electronic brain or technical brain or something like that, loosely. For me, that is stupid. Leave it, computer. Actually, Tibetan, most of the Tibetan, they are saying computer, computer. So why you translate it? And then criteria, demarcation by the demarcation that will help you what to translate, what to not translate is, for example, in the case of computer, it's a word Tibetans can say easily, and it's a word Tibetans can write easily. Then don't translate. But it is something that's very difficult to say, very difficult to write, then probably translate it. So in translation, there are two ways of translation. One is literal translation, another is meaning translation. So Tibetans in the ancient tradition, they've tried their best to do the meaning translation, which is very good. But if you always try to do a meaning translation, then like one English book will have two Tibetan books. So that is not very good, right? Translation. So Om Mani Padme Hum. Okay, let us read the book. Which verse? 85. Right. What did you figure out? I'm joking. 85. 85. So from verse 85 it is saying that you should attract practitioners or students by giving material gifts and also giving Dharma teaching. So if you really care about the Buddhist teaching, then you should help people through different ways. One, giving teaching. Another, not just talking, but actually helping, giving material needs. It's very, very important. But if you keep on talking and nobody is helping each other, this will not attract people because people have to live by eating and so on. So therefore, these next few verses are talking about attracting students or followers by giving material, things, wealth or dharma. I should divide my food. So I should divide my food amongst those who fall into lower realms. Those who fall into lower realms means those who are born as birds, born as dogs, born as animals, who are born in a lower state. And those without protection, that means like beggars and practitioners who are observing certain discipline and not working, like meditators, hermits, we should divide them. And eat merely what is sufficient for myself. Eat merely what is sufficient. That means when you eat you should eat in moderation. If you eat too much, eating too much is not good for you, right? Overfeeding. Eating too less is also not good. If you divide your stomach into four parts, two-part food, one part water, one part air to breathe. There are some who eat too much, then later on have difficulty. Oh, I've eaten momo, so much momo. I can't breathe now. Did you do something like that? I'm sure. I'm sure. So don't do that. Don't starve yourself. Okay. And then, for example, in the case of the monks, he says, except for the three ropes, I may give away. So this is clear indication that he was giving this teaching primarily for the monastics. So except for the three ropes, I may give away all, like the upper garment, lower garment, there are three ropes. This should monks should give with them like their skin. Do not give them away. Otherwise you can give everything. This body which is being used for the sacred dharma should not be harmed for only slight benefit. This body means especially the body that is owned by a bodhisattva at the beginner stage. So in the name of benefiting others, if you just cut your hand or something like that and harm yourself, that's not encouraged. By my behaving in this way, the wishes of all beings will quickly be fulfilled. So that means although you are not encouraged to lead a very luxurious life, but at the same time you should not torture yourself. You will remember that the Buddha has taught the middle way. Don't lead a life of luxury and don't lead a life of self-mortification. Those who lack the pure intention of compassion should not give their body away. Instead, both in this and future lives, they should give it to the cause of fulfilling the great purpose. Those whose compassion is not very pure means those bodhisattvas on a beginner stage, especially those bodhisattvas who have not actualized the first spiritual level, which is called the joyous one. And until to that you need this body. So you should not directly give your body or the parts of your body to others. Because if you do so, for example, if you cut your hand and give it to others, there is no certainty that it will help others, and then you will also later on regret. So that will become an hindrance to your practice. So therefore you should guard your body like a very important medicinal tree. Guard your body like a medicinal tree. Right? They should give it to the cause of fulfilling the great purpose. Instead, both in this and future lives, they should give it to the cause of fulfilling great purposes. Just like the great teacher Changju, they were like cousin and his Lalama Changju and Lalama Yeshiva. The different area. I think there is a mix up here. Anyway, when These two relatives, Lama Changchu and Lama Ishiva, they were planning to invite Atisha to Tibet, and it was very difficult. There were some Kalo, probably Muslim, probably at that time. So they were obstructing them go to India, and they said that if you give us large collection of gold, then we will let you go. Then Lama Ishiva, he worked very hard and went everywhere to collect gold, and he collected gold almost like the size of the whole body of person, neck above. And but still, the concerned person was not letting him go. Then he called his nephew Renekare. So it's so, Changju. And he said, my nephew Changju, I know even when you were very young, you were very dedicated, determined, and courageous. So now you should go take this gold and go to India and make sure that you're able to invite Atisha. And to this person who is obstructing me, I'm not going to give even one small iota of gold. And my not giving the gold to them means they're going to kill me. So let it be so. So that's the meaning. So for the sake of Dharma, he sacrificed his life. And Changchu was able to go to Tibet and they were able to invite Atisha. And Atisha remained in Tibet for 17 years and wrote this very famous book called Bodhisattva, right? The name of, name of the path to enlightenment. He wrote this book, which is probably the first stages of the path text, Lamrim, based on which Tsongkhapa and many other great teachers wrote several Lamrim books. So there's the meaning. Instead, both in this and future life, they should give it to the cause of fulfilling the great purpose. He fulfilled a great purpose. And when you are listening to the Lama, then you should show full respect. Should have good motivation, and in terms of your physical behavior also. In Dharma, the Dharma should not be explained to those who lack respect. That means those who listen to the Dharma, they should show respect. Showing respect means that you are really regarding the Dharma teaching as something very important. And therefore, to those who, like sick men, wear clothes around their heads, even if it is not needed, you wear scarves around your neck or wear hats in the room and hold umbrellas, sticks, or weapons. And to those with covered heads, you should not be teaching any like anything that you put on just to show off and it represents lack of respect. You should not do it. But if the teaching is held outside and the sun is very hot, then of course you can use umbrella, cover your head, and so forth. But there's a different context. And you should not give teaching to a woman unaccompanied by a man. And the vast and profound should not be taught to lesser beings. Right? So meaning, for example, somebody who is really interested in the path of the Savakas and Patika Buddhas and who is not interested, then you should not force them to listen to the Mahayana teaching which talks about emptiness, right? And the extensive path of Lamrim, stages of the path, it's not proper to teach them to them. And then in the case of a monk, the monk should not give teaching to a woman unaccompanied by a man. right? I must not forsake the Bodhisattva way of life, nor mislead others by means of sutras and tantras. Hmm. So in other words, you should really see what is suitable and what is not suitable. Right. So the meaning of this one. So sometimes it may be the case that you need to give a profound teaching, right? Otherwise, I must not forsake the Bodhisattva way of life. What is Bodhisattva way of life? The primary Bodhisattva way of life is teaching them not to do anything negative, teaching them to do everything that is positive. So primarily teaching the law of causality, right? So this teaching should be taken as the most important one, and not teaching on emptiness when people are not ready. Here's the meaning. And in the case of a person who is really able to live the Bodhisattva way of life, even there, you should not nor mislead others by means of sutras or mantras. Meaning that somebody who is really able to live the Bodhisattva way of life, you should not tell them that if you just read this particular sutra, if you read just this particular mantra, if you just recite these mantras, then you will be liberated. Right? Don't say things like that. You should give the actual teaching. Then from the next verse onwards, it is telling us how to lead a life so that others will not lose faith in you. For example, if it is a bodhisattva who is really trying to protect other people not to lose their faith, then there, when I speak or throw away the stick for cleaning my teeth, I should cover it up with earth. In other words, for example, if you are walking with a big number of people, you should not be spitting there. Some people do that. Some people do it just in front of you. Right? Also, it is shameful to urinate and so forth. कहीं भी जगह मिल गया वहाँ पीछे पड़ रहे हैं कई लोग दीवार पर कर रहे हैं यहाँ कर रहे हैं वहाँ कर रहे हैं in water or on land used by others. And also when you eat food, do not completely fill your mouth. When eating, I should not fill my mouth. Or eat noisily, not like that. Or with my mouth wide open. Wide open means you are really like quite greedy with the food. So this, I'm not a good actor, otherwise I should demonstrate all this. Right? And you should not sit with my legs outstretched, especially towards the teacher or things like that. Nor rub my hands together. I'm not so clear about this, but basically it's saying when you wash your hand, first wash one hand, like this, and then the next hand. Not something together like this or something like this, I don't know. Right. I should not sit alone in vehicle or on horse upon bears or nor in the same room with the women of others. In belief, I mean it's applicable not only to monks but with others also. It's not good. Having observed or inquired about what is proper. What's it? In belief, having observed or inquired about what is proper. So that means you need to know what to do, what is proper, what is not proper. Even if you visit different countries, there are do's and don'ts in every country. In some countries, if you really don't know their custom, they get really hurt. Right? I should not do anything that would be disliked by the people of the world. I should not give direction with one finger, but instead indicate the way respectfully with my right arm, with all my fingers fully outstretched. That means if somebody is asking a question, where is the road, where is the temple, something like that, then don't do it like this. There, near the window, not like this, but with all the fingers, right? Respectively with my right arm, not with the left arm, see, with all my fingers fully outstretched. Then when you are taking your pot, cleaning your pot or other objects, then nor should I wildly wave my arms about. So don't like do like this, forcibly, but move slowly. I mean, for example, if you want to take a pot up there, then you go slowly, and then take it. Not like this, as if you're playing basketball, right? But should make my point with slight gesture and a snap of fingers, otherwise I shall lose control. I mean, this means, for example, if you want to move a pot from somewhere, then you should see, let them understand what you want. Otherwise, your behavior will be uncontrolled. And how to sleep? Time to sleep is not during the dawn, not during the dusk, but in between. And when you sleep, you should sleep like the Buddha. Just as the Buddha lay down to pass away, so should I lie in the desired direction when going to sleep. What is desired direction? On the right side. They say this is the lion-like posture. If possible, have your hand under your head. People even suggest, I think, blocking your nose, something like this, right? And then your left hand outstretched on the left thigh. And I have tested this a little bit. It really helps you breathe easier. In my case, if I lie down, sometimes you can't lie on this all the time, so I feel comfortable lying like this. But if you, this is also okay for me, but this is not what is suggested here. But if you sleep like this, on left side where your heart is, in my case, whenever I sleep like this, I get nightmares, horrible dreams. In your case, I don't know. You don't get?
But I don't sleep very well.
Yeah. But then the worst is face down, suffocate yourself. But many people do that. They hold the pillow and then sleep like that. Just as the Buddha lay down to pass away. So here in this case, what the scientists say, I have those articles there. Now I don't remember. It's worth reading that also. More pressure.
You said that one time. When you sleep on your right side, you relieve the pressure on your heart and your chest.
Exactly.
And when you sleep on your left side,
You put the pressure on the heart, yes. So amazing, Buddha discovered all this long before. Scientists का एक भी माइल का लाभ पैदा नहीं था उसको. And first of all, don't get offended. Sometimes I murmur in Hindi. I was saying that at the time, not even one son of scientist was born when Buddha was making this statement. When first of all, with alertness, make the firm decision to quickly rise again. This is one important thing. So go to bed a little bit early. The big problem these days is people don't sleep when it's time to sleep and they're unable to get up when it's time to get up. अभी हम लोग क्या बन रहा है? We are becoming ullu kapata. Ullu, we are becoming owls, And you stay awake, I don't know, watching something. 2 p.m. Then go to sleep. Then next morning you are unable to get up. You don't get your breakfast. Then you are resting, which is really not good. Go to bed a little bit early, early riser, and get up later. When everything is so fresh, get up early. It's quite good for you. If you get up early, you can do so many things when everybody is sleeping, right? But this is, I think, the recommended time. But again, it depends on people. Some people like who was that? Sarojini Naidu, something who used to stay very late and become a very famous freedom fighter. Like, there was you. Sorry, I didn't hear. I heard something. Please forgive me. I'm old man. I can't hear. So I heard something. That was me. I heard something like that. And in the case of His Holiness, he goes to bed. At what time? Around 7. And then wake up at 3 or something like that. And another competitor to His Holiness, this Christian monk, Thomas Martin. He used to go to bed, I think, a little bit late, 8 or 9, and get up at 2 p.m. 2 a.m., sorry, 2 a.m. See, this is a sign of old age, yeah? You're so happy when I say I'm getting old. You will also get old very soon. Okay? 2 a.m., right?
doesn't His Holiness keep that schedule even when he's traveling?
Yes. Yeah, I remember he's asking when we were flying and then we follow different time zones. He would always ask, did you get good sleep? Did you get good sleep? He would ask this question to all the entrance members. And interestingly, all the monks, they say, yes, we got very good sleep. Then he would teach the other lay people, this is the difference. But the great thing with His Holiness is, when he's in the aeroplane, normally we don't fly in first class, we fly in business. So stupid, those of us, the stupid group, as soon as we sit, then it's comfortable seat, then we push the button and then relax, He's always never does this. I watched, it's always like this. And then very soon he will cover his eye, and nobody knows whether he's sleeping or meditating. He spends his whole night like that. And next time he's fresh. But sometimes because of very long flight, he really gets tired, and then he would not pretend. And it happened during one press meeting. He was very tired, so he was really not paying much attention. He was telling people, I'm tired. He just sit like this during the whole interview. Yeah. Thomas Martin was before he died, he came to Dharamsala to meet His Holiness. And many years back, I visited his monastery in Kentucky. And so he has his own individual, special small habit when he used to meditate or do writings, things like that. Very special person. Then in the next few verses, what will be taught is some of the branch practices that would make the Bodhisattva practice perfect. Although I am unable to practice all, the limitless varieties of Bodhisattva's conduct, I should certainly practice as much as has been mentioned here, of this conduct that trains the mind. Right? I should certainly practice as much as has been mentioned in this book, Bodhicitta, of this conduct that trains the mind. Right? And somehow when you do the practice, you commit a mistake and commit an infraction, then you should try to set it right. You should confess. Right? You should confess, then again you should receive the Bodhisattva vow. So whatever faults occur, then you should confess it 3 times a day, 3 times a night. Now that's why a great practitioner like Atisha, he always used to carry a stupa with him. If you look at the photo of Atisha, there is a stupa behind him. As and when he suspects that he has committed something wrong, he would make 3 prostrations to the stupa. And he also used to take with him a very angry sadhu, Azara we call it, angry sadhu. And people were wondering why he took such angry sadhu with him. He said, he is my object of practice of patience. So you should 3 times a day, 3 times a night recite the 3 hymns. What are the 3 hymns? Confession, the text on confession, the text on rejoicing, and dedication. In Hindi, it's called Triskanda. The 3 skandhas are Papadeshana, Punya Anumodan, and Bodhi Parinamana. For by relying upon the Buddhas and the awakening mind, my remaining downfalls will be purified. Whatever I'm doing in my situation, in any situation, whether for myself or for the benefit of others, I should start to put into practice whatever has been taught for that situation. There is no such thing as something that is not learned by the Bodhisattvas. Thus, if I'm skilled in living in this way, nothing will be non-meritorious. That means the whole focus of Bodhisattvas are to benefit sentient beings, and the need of sentient beings are multifarious. So depending on their need, if you are somebody who really has all the skills, not only the teaching part, but also the skill to, you know, stitch something, skill to paint or whatever, all the skills, if that is really useful for that other person, it will be great help. So therefore they try to learn everything. So whatever they do, it becomes meritorious. Thus, if I am skilled in living in this way, nothing will be non-meritorious. For example, what came in my mind right now is, for example, as a bodhisattva, if you train in electricity, become an electrician, such an opportunity to help others. Whenever a particular house has no light, I help you, fix it. If you want to take some money, do it, not much, fix it. So much opportunity, right? So, so your job, even if you're not bodhisattva, share your skills, share your knowledge to others. Don't hide them. Don't think if I share it, that she will also become like me. They will never become like you. And giving Dharma teaching or giving talks, giving education, therefore, is so important because actually it's my own experience that the more you share, the more you get experienced in that. And you lose nothing. I give a teaching, I give like 8 days teaching to these Ladakh students. So after the retreat, everything is gone. Now I don't remember anything. It is not like that. If I give some material object, like if I give this watch away, I'm without watch. So there is difference between giving spiritual Dharma teachings and giving material gifts, right? So don't be stingy. Pandit का मुट्ठी मत बनाओ. Pandit का मुट्ठी बोलता है. Some pandits, they never share their expertise to others. So thereby they call it the Pandit का मुट्ठी. Whether directly or indirectly, I should not do anything that is not for the benefit of others. So this is really the big question. This is the big thing. Well, whatever you are doing, you should give some thought whether this is helping or harming. There are some people who really have no such sensitivity. If many people are like, say, passing through a tiny door or road, there will be somebody who will just stand there in between. बीच में खड़ा होकर बैठता है buffalo की तरह. When people are coming, you should be sensitive, give way. And such kind of ethics are learned by for example, the drivers, motor drivers, In many places you see they don't give the way to the other, and then instead of they start honking and then crane their neck and start yelling and shouting. So instead of that, if you quietly give the way, then there will be no traffic. Actually, there are really good traffic rules, but nobody follows it, And sometimes it's so scary, one car is coming I'm coming down, that car is coming up. That fellow really looks like they will just drive straight towards you. There's so many stupid drivers. They think it's not my job to give way, it's their job to give way. So I'm not going to give way. They will come straight to you. Now if this fellow also does the same thing, big bang then. right? So it doesn't take anything. Just give way. And also when you take food, don't rush. If some people are hungry or going, first let them go. Go slowly. It will take few minutes. Your turn will come. Right? There's a story of in a monastery. There's a story of a monk. So it was probably lunchtime. So we have this special kind of food for the monk, not food for the monks, but such kind of food, prepared from rice with a lot of butter, and some dry fruits or salt. So this monk, he was sitting almost at the end of the line. It was a long line. So he was able to see the food is served, and he really got worried. The food may, before the food comes here, it might run out. She was really concerned, worried. Then immediately he realized that, oh, I'm having such a negative thought. Then actually the food came, he turned his cup upside down and he said, I've already eaten it. He did not take the food. So that is how people change. So this is beautiful. Directly or indirectly, I should not do anything that is not for the benefit of others. Is this benefiting others? Is this harming others? And solely for the sake of sentient beings, I should dedicate everything towards awakening. Towards awakening means to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Never, even at the cost of my life, should I forsake my spiritual. Uh, Never, even at the cost of my life, should I forsake a spiritual friend. Means teacher. Kalyan mitre bolte हैं ना, Guruji, Guru. In Hindi language, Guruji बोलते हैं ना, Guru. You know the meaning of the Guru? You know the meaning of the word Guru? Gu means ignorance. Ru means remover. So Guru is somebody who is the remover of your ignorance. Guruji. Guruji. Right? That's the meaning. Never, even at the cost of my life, should I forsake a spiritual friend who is wise in the meaning of the great vehicle and who is a great Bodhisattva practitioner. Then how should you relate to such a teacher? I should practice entrusting myself to my spiritual master in the manner taught in the biography of Sri Sambhava. These and other advice spoken by the Buddha, I can understand through reading the sutras. So there's in one sutra called Gandapiva Sutra, Tubuku Bendo, right? So there's a story of a Bodhisattva by the name Norzam. He had 110 teachers, and he respected them all equally. So read such stories. So read such stories, that's what you see. So normally a question is asked by saying that is it better to have many teachers or is it better to have few teachers? Huh? Few. What about your clothes? Is it better to have many clothes or few? I'm teasing. It's better to have shoes or few shoes. It's better to have lots of money or very rich. In terms of money, you need many, many. In terms of teacher, just two or three. And I'm joking, I'm teasing you. But which one is good? Having many teachers or few teachers? It depends. It's up to you. If you're able to respect all the teachers, it's fine to have many teachers. Like Atisha, he had many teachers. And if you're not able to do, then it's better to have just few teachers and relate to them properly. I should read the sutras. Why should you read the sutras? Because by reading the sutras, you will be constantly in touch with what are the Bodhisattvas' way of life, right? I should read the sutras because it is from them that the practices of Bodhisattva appear. To begin with, I should look at the sutras of Akash Garbha. Akash Garbha is a Bodhisattva, especially I should read the text called Akash Garbha Sutra, where these 18 root infractions and how to, if you commit an infraction, how to set them right, these are all very clearly explained there. So first you should read that sutra. In addition, I should definitely read the compendium of all practices again and again. This compendium of all practices written by Shantideva himself. It's only like the root text is only 2-3 pages. But then he compiled a kind of commentary to that by by Shantideva, which is like big book, right? So there basically Shantideva says, how to say, so there he speaks about how to protect your body, how to make it useful, how to protect your good deeds, and how to enhance it, how to further develop it, things like that. The short text, very, very nice text. Long before I have translated this into English. If you are interested, I'll send you. Okay. Or I should sometimes look at the condensed compendium of all sutras, and I should make an effort to study the works of the same two titles composed by exalted Nagarjuna. I should do whatever is not forbidden in those works, and when I see a practice there, I should impeccably put it into action in order to guard the minds of holy people. So it's basically now summarizing by saying, easy way of doing the practice. The easy way of doing the practice is you should always judge what my body is doing now, what is the state of my mind now. So in short, this is the meaning of practicing conscientiousness. The defining characteristics of guiding awareness in brief is only this: to examine again and again the condition of your body and mind. So finally he says, if you should physically practice it, there is not much benefit just saying it by the word of the mouth. And he gives an example by saying that just by reading the medical scripture, it will not benefit the sick person. Therefore, I should put this way of life into actual practice. For what can be achieved by merely talking about it? Will a sick man be benefited merely by reading the medical texts? From the Bodhisattva's way of life, this is chapter 5, Guarding Awareness. Question answer. finished chapter 6, I think.
Can you explain this line to me, Yashoda? There is this line, no to a women unaccompanied by a man. The words and perform should not be taught to lesser beings.
Lesser being means those whose minds are not ready, not interested in the Mahayana Bodhisattva teachings. They're lesser beings. Then what was the other one?
No to a woman unaccompanied by a man.
Yeah, that means for a monk, if he's going to give a teaching, he should not be giving a teaching alone in a room with one woman alone. So if there is a woman, he makes such a request, then you should tell her, can you bring 2, 3 more people with you? Something like that. Or you can give it in an open space or something.
And one more thing, Yashoda, the monk who was on the last line. The monk who was on the last line, and the food was serving.
Yeah.
And then by the time his son was there, he just turned the ball.
Yeah.
Why he did that? Because after that he might be more hungry than.
No. Because when the food was coming, he thought now the food will run out and I will not get it. So this is like kind of negative thought, craving. And then he realized I'm developing this craving, so this is very bad. So when actually the food came, he turned his mouth upside down. So definitely he will be hungry, but he is really now giving himself a lesson. There is another story of a monk who was very stingy. He was not able to give anything. So he realized that this is a problem with me. So what he did was, he picked something in the right hand and gave it in the left hand. Then picked something in the left hand, give it to the right hand. Then through this practice of giving, gradually he became a great teacher.
This line, the no to a woman unaccompanied by a man, like this one.
Yeah, no, not unaccompanied by man. Man means if you give a teaching alone with just one woman. Okay, now you got it. Yeah. So we may not be able to so strict, but these are the desired practices because of seeing that this.
If all things are interdependent, and if we separate the things how it's made, and we find out to be atom, and atom itself consists of electron, proton, and neutron.
Yeah.
So does it
it's
mean
dependent, yes.
does it means that electron, proton are designated, that's why it's impermanence, or does electron,
No, it's
proton, and
dependent on many other parts. Now they are subtler, Lipton. They'll find more, so they're dependent. And interestingly, long before Buddha and Nagarjuna, they said, you will never find a partless particle. They made this statement long before.
so it means
And scientists, they were saying, we will find partless particle. Now they are saying, it is impossible. Even when they thought this is the subtlest particle, then something pops up.
So it means it changes its matter. That's why it's impermanence.
What?
It changes its state of matter. That's why it's
It is what?
changes its
Changes,
state of
yeah.
matter. That's why it's
Changes, yes.
impermanence.
Changes, therefore it is impermanent, but here we are primarily talking about having parts, divisible.
Okay, I have another question, Keshala.
No.
Uh, we have another life according to our karma,
Mm.
right? So, what about the if we did a karma like and that animal is already extinct,
Huh?
like
Yeah.
like dinosaur and dodo bird.
Yeah.
So
So then
how
you will become like other animal, not dinosaur.
what if we did a karma like
Huh?
dinosaur?
Huh?
What if we did a karma like we are going to born as a dinosaur?
Dinosaur. Good question. Then probably you don't have to be born as a dinosaur, and then you will try to look for some other menu, some other life, maybe rhinoceros.
Or maybe it's in another galaxy.
Possible, yes.
Thank you, Geshe.
But with karma, there are different types: definite karma, indefinite karma, unmovable karma. So definite karma means the cause will produce a definite result. Indefinite means it can change due to certain other factors.
Bodhisattva,
Hmm.
you mentioned that having guy having 100 teachers, right? 110 teachers.
Hmm.
But I heard of a saying that you should only follow teaching of a one teacher, because if you follow others, other might have their different perspective, and it might like collide and like be weak.
Yeah. So that's why I said it's up to you. Some feel comfortable just to have one teacher, others like many. But it also depends upon your mental capacity and how you look for teacher. So basically, sit down, guys. Basically, the answer is don't rush for teachers. Don't rush for teachers, just like dogs rush for a piece of meat. This is a little bit dangerous because, for example, people like, the Ladakhis, you have so much faith and devotion. So whenever you see a teacher, you say, "Shaks hello," you know, right? And then people say, "This is this great teacher, this is this great Lama." Now there are so many great teachers all around. Luckily or unluckily, I'm not so sure which one is this. So then you try to follow everybody. So therefore, as I already told you in the four reliances, don't rely on the person, rely on the teaching. So you should take time. So in the initial stage, you should listen to somebody, just as somebody is giving a lecture. For example, during this many days, I'm giving a lecture. So I will not become your teacher. Even if you benefited, you don't have to call me as your teacher, right? 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 So it's up to you to take time. And then gradually, when you find that this person is not only able to teach, but he's also compassionate, is reliable, then gradually you can accept mentally. It's up to you. Mentally accept that this is my teacher. You don't have to announce it. He's my teacher. But the problem is sometimes because without due analysis, you accept somebody as your teacher, then after that you get a lot of problem because of the misbehavior of the teacher, right? It is like marriage. Will you marry everybody? Will you marry everybody? No. And even when you marry one person, will you marry that person quickly, hurriedly? I have no time. No. You will, of course, some people like stupid people do like that. But generally speaking, you will take time. इनका खानदान कैसे है परिवार क्या करता है I mean, here you do a lot of analysis in terms of marriage. How good the families are, whether the family members employed or not. You really do very nice kind of scrutiny. But in terms of Dharma, you don't do that. You should do that. It's more important. This relationship is more important. than ordinary relationship, right? So therefore, Lama Mata Tutung Simare. No? So without examining the teacher, Lama, accepting somebody as your Lama is like drinking poison. Especially this word Lama. What do you mean by the word Lama? Lama means somebody who is superior, higher. For example, I'm not Lama. I'm just stupid ordinary Lama. So the real Lama is one. I mean, there may be many who say I'm Lama, but you can test them. One way of testing is, which really makes it difficult to have somebody as the Lama. So, as he Solon said, if it is really a good Lama, then this Lama will take more care of others than himself. And this Lama will pay more attention to the long future lives than just for this life. These are some very special features of great Lama, great teacher, but which is not really easy. Even otherwise, just when you're looking for a spiritual teacher, the spiritual teacher should have at least 10 qualities. Now, to find a teacher with all the 10 qualities is next to impossible in this dark period. But that teacher should have at least 3 qualities. One, the most important quality is the teacher should be compassionate. The teacher really cares about you. If there is no there is a likelihood of you being cheated. Right? And the second important quality is that the teacher should have more knowledge than you, otherwise he can't teach, right? And third is he should be ready to help you. He should be ready to undergo some problem or some difficulty spending the time and talking to the teacher. So at least these 3 qualities must be there. Right?
Geshe-la, on verse 87, which was about lacking pure intention and shouldn't give their body away, but they should give it only to the cause of fulfilling the great purpose. Can we say that Logpa Rangsan, for example, would embody that by self-immolating himself and causing so much attention to be paid to the issue of Tibet right now?
The little differences here we are talking about Bodhisattva practices. But of course, I can't say he's not Bodhisattva. You can't judge by the external appearances. But it is very clear in the case of Lokaransen, he's very dedicated. And clearly, not happened only this time, for many, many years, he's always been saying, let us do something for Tibet. Let us do something for preserve our culture and Buddhism. Right? And then he also clearly said, I wish I'm more educated. I don't have the needed education, so there's nothing much I can do. Repeatedly he has been saying these things. But otherwise he's a very cheerful person. Although he's fat, but he does so much dancing and singing, And some of them are viral, very viral. So very happy, and he used to make a lot of jokes. And if you read this last message, which he tape recorded and put on YouTube, just before he self-immolated himself, maybe just a few minutes before. But when he was recording this, there is no sign of like fear or restlessness or headache and things like that. Looks like just giving just a normal, advice. Then he goes, wears his Tibetan shirt very nicely, takes Tibetan banner, right? And then goes and puts the banner there. And right in front of you, and he self-immolated himself. When he was completely engulfed by the fire, I mean, it's so unbelievable to say that. Even when he was completely on fire, but still he was standing there for a few seconds, unmoving. And the clothes and others were really burned and falling apart, but still he's standing there, unbelievable. So definitely he dedicated his life for good things. But we can never judge who is who, Yeah.
Trashidele Geshe-la. So my question leads.
I'll be waiting for the first line.
No, Geshe-la, out of respect to my teacher.
How do?
Out of respect, Geshe-la.
Yeah.
So my question leads back to the. So my question leads back to the
I mean, so my question, yeah.
first batch experience, Geshe-la.
Huh?
Batch 1 experience, Geshe-la.
Yeah,
Batch
yeah.
1 students. So that's why I'm saying. So my question is.
Yeah.
My question is actually leading back to the previous session where I asked, where I could not digest, and I tried to think also, Geshe-la, but this time I really need to ask one more thing regarding this. As you said, in one life when Buddha committed or whatever it is, but then he kind of murdered one person for the sake of all the other 1,000 people, right, Geshe-la?
Yeah.
So even after attaining the bodhisattva, I couldn't get one thing that just imagine like that person died, but then his soul is still alive, so he will again come back in another life, right, Geshe-la? So isn't it like for just temporary thing he is like murdering, but then that person aspire to do bad things, but still that mind and that soul is still alive, or I mean that will again rebirth in another, and then they will again commit them crime. So I mean, even after attaining bodhisattva, Buddha might be knowing that he will do bad things. So instead of going for the temporary murder, he could have tried to solve and try to clear the negative afflictions of the mind of that person.
I mean, it's easier said than done, you know. It's very difficult to deal with such situations. But in this case, he must be a bodhisattva with special, capacity. He must have known what is going to happen in the future lives. Probably, I don't know. But at least, he's saving the life of these 300 or so merchants. That's for clear. And if he had allowed this person to kill 300 and so merchants, imagine the consequences, negative consequences. So this bodhisattva saved him not to experience such negative consequences. And future life, it is not necessary that you will keep on doing all the bad things if you're doing something bad now. For example, if you're doing something bad now, doesn't mean the rest of life you will keep on doing bad things. Situation changes, circumstance changes, and things become different. For example, when we talk about karma, on our brain, on our mind, there are 100,000 different imprints of different karma, positive karma, negative karma, neutral karma, so many. So out of this, today you may be experiencing the result of one karma. But that doesn't mean you have to experience that all the time. And you experience and finish, then the other one, which is more powerful, will give fruit like that.
One last question, teacher.
Thank you. Why you always say last?
So that to remind you.
I'm joking.
I'm very positive to that you are teaching. Thank you so much, Keshala. My question is also on the same Keshala and the rebirth. So, like with the modern science and contraception and growing preferences to the smaller families, we have led to there are like so many saints which have like gained so many good karmas, and they have a power to rebirth as a human being. But due to all this science, we are like reducing the population. So, what happened to those saints or those lives, Keshala? Do they have to wait, or like what happened?
Karma is more powerful than contraception. Because in fact, we say the intermediate state beings are looking for a suitable place. So if the place is not suitable, he will not go there. And the suitable place is when the intermediate state is really like a traveler looking for guest house. Right? Not everybody will let you come, And some of the guest houses are very expensive, so you can't go. So depending upon your pocket, So like that, the intermediate state beings are looking for a place to take rebirth, and then it is said that when the intermediate state by being sees the future father and mother sleeping together, he sees that they are a very interesting place to go. And if the intermediate state being is to be born as a girl, he will take more interest in the male organ, and contrarily, the one is to be born as a boy, show more interest in the female sign, and then goes there, and because of the force of karma, especially the karma of the parents and also of the intermediate state being, many things come together. Then he goes into this place and gets stuck with the union of the ovum and the egg. So ovum and egg becomes his body, and this mind of the intermediate state being becomes his mind. And then gradually conception takes place, and in 9 months and 10 days, the child will be born. But scientifically speaking, also, conception doesn't happen every time. Certain conditions must be fulfilled. So, we did actually a comparative study of these two. One explained in the Buddhist text. There is a Buddhist text called Entering the Womb Sutra. It's a small text sutra by Buddha, conception text like intermediate state being is looking for such place, conception text like this. And then gradually in the womb of the mother, the changes take place. What is the situation of the body in the first week, second week, third week? I mean, it's really amazing. But by Buddha, 2,500 years before, so precisely. And we did a comparative study of the scientific explanation, and then this sutra very close. Amazing. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
There's something for your empty pocket.